This video is meant to help you visualize how to set up Experiment 7, Build an Electric Circuit. You're going to build two electric circuits. The first will be a series, which we'll do in this video. And this screen capture shows you what it should look like when you get done. And a parallel circuit. And this shows you what the parallel circuit should look like. When you open the tutorial, or the simulator, there is a tutorial at the top that you can click on. And this will describe to you how to move these components onto the component board. We're going to show you how to do that. And so we're going to follow the directions in the procedures to build a series circuit and make measurements. It says we're going to start in the horizontal direction. That's the direction that we're already set up at. And the first thing we're going to do is put a battery on the circuit board. We're going to follow that by placing a switch and then an ammeter. All you're doing is clicking and dragging the components from the component board onto the circuit board. Then we can add one piece of wire. It says then to change and go in the vertical direction. So you make sure you're in the vertical direction, and we're going to put 3 resistors in the circuit, and we may put an extra piece of wire. Since we're already going in the vertical direction, let's fill in the left-hand side of the circuit to make sure that we have wire running on the left-hand side. Now all we need to do is complete in the horizontal direction, go back to the horizontal direction, placing the wire on the circuit board just as you would in a laboratory until you've completed the circuit. Then you have a valid circuit if you get this green go. Now it says click on the first resistor. Down here you'll see that you've selected the resistor and its current resistance is 1 ohm, but we want to increase that to 3 ohms. So you use the arrows up and down to increase or decrease as necessary. Second resistor, again, 3 ohms, and the third resistor, again, 3 ohms. Then you have to set the battery voltage, and you might want to just use the slider, the arrows, to get to 9 volts. So now we have a 9-volt battery, a 3 ohm, 3 ohm, and 3 ohm resistor. We're ready to go. Now, we need to place a voltmeter. So you click on it on the circuit board, and it says click 2 adjacent points to place the meter. So you click the first point, you click the second point, and there it is. You have a voltmeter that's across the circuit, measuring the voltage drop across the first resistor. Now we click on the switch. It's red. We select the object. It's the switch. It's currently off, and when we close it, the current flows. Click on the ammeter tab, and you will see that 1 amp is running through the circuit, and the voltage drop across the first resistor is 3 volts. So in your worksheet, you would put for resistor 1, the resistance is 3, the observed current is 1.0, and the observed voltage is 3.0. And the calculated power is simply I times V, or 1 times 3 is 3.0 watts. Going back to our circuit board, it says click on the voltmeter here. It removes it. We now measure across this, and we see that we have 1 amp. Because it's a series circuit, we will have the same amperage running through all the resistors, and 3 volts across R2. Across R3, we have 3 volts. Now what I want to show you is that if you selected the 2 points in the opposite direction, you would measure a minus 3 volts across the resistor. In this case, simply ignore the minus sign and record the absolute value of the voltage. Let's replace that voltmeter. We're getting 3 volts, and let's follow the directions that say to click on the resistor with the voltmeter across it. That's R3. We're going to increase that to 9 ohms, and R2 we're going to increase to 6, and we're going to leave 3 ohms on the resistor number 1. So now we click on the ammeter and we're down to a half of an amp, and the voltage drop across R3 is 4.5 volts. So we would record in the observed current 0.5, because we're in a series circuit. We don't have to fill in the current for the other resistors because the current is the same through all 3 resistors. But the observed voltage was 4.5 volts, and I times V is power, which is 2.25. Notice it says use 2 decimal places, so make sure that that's how you record your information. This completes the demonstration on how to set up in the circuit board a series circuit. It is now your turn to work on the experiment. Remember, if you have any questions about format or procedures, contact your instructor before doing the experiment and especially before entering data into the lab report.